Y'all, I saw a infographic saying that this is the fourth wettest May Texas ever had, even to the point where we in central Texas had more rain. We had 12 inches of rain in this time period. We had more rain than Seattle and Portland. Pacific Northwest, we had more rain than them. Crazy. Hey y'all, how's it going? Welcome to week 22. I have been doing some gardening this Memorial Day weekend, but I've also just been trying to enjoy life outside of gardening, which is, what is that? Who even knows anymore? But Friday night, we had a massive, crazy storm, wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. I was running around trying to get some of my indoor plants inside, and it was a true test of how well I Florida weaved my tomatoes. Let's go see how well I Florida weaved my tomatoes. They've all fallen over. This is just a big C. They just are really struggling, if I'm being honest. And I think this is because of a couple of things. I think this is because the first few rows of the Florida weave I did with a cotton kitchen twine. I don't think that was the best option because it has really started to degrade. So I got instead a hemp twine that's way more sturdy. So because the plants are so big, I can't really just take down all the Florida weave and start over. So what I did was, oh, it looks like it's gonna rain. So what I did was I went and got 8 foot long, I think these are 1x2s or something like that. Not that expensive. They were maybe $2.30 a piece. And I'm going to saw them in half. And then I'm going to stick each one like a giant tomato stake in there so that I can redo the Florida weave. Because I had some of my one cherry tomato that's over there, the top just broke off of it. Same thing happened with one of these over here. So it was definitely a really big bummer, I'm not gonna lie. But that's what we're doing today. Wow, it just got so dark all of a sudden. Y'all, Texas this time of year is so unpredictable with the weather. Ooh, and there's that cool breeze. Well, y'all, Texas storm blows in about 5 minutes. It has been the rainiest May I can ever remember. And I lived in Texas as a kid. I lived in Texas as an adult now for a while, and this just keeps raining and raining and raining. And I clearly was determined to finish what I was doing. Hey guys, so it stopped raining. I got a few garden snacks. These sunrise bumblebee tomatoes are so good. So it's definitely still sprinkling out here, but it's stopped enough to show you. Beautiful. Everything is standing much straighter. I did have to make a hard decision and top some of these that were not savable. But that just means I'll let the suckers take over, and basically I'm just done interfering with these. This giant cherry tomato got topped. None of my big slicers got topped. Those were all pretty okay. But honestly, I think the move for the Florida weave for me in this environment is to have some kind of extra support. If they're not going to be caged, I'm going to use the Florida weave. There has to be some kind of extra layer of support because they got really tall really fast. And they just weren't supported. These stems that are kind of leaning like that scares me because this plant is very tall and it just they're all kind of doing that now because they're getting so tall that they're just having a hard time having support. That's why I would love to have a situation where I could do the cattle panel trellising, where you just have like big tall T-posts and you set up the cattle panels and then you can tie them. Because these tomatoes just get so tall. Like, I think this one, I think I'm just gonna top all of these because, like I've said before, tomato season here, you can make your tomatoes last through the hot weather, but for me, it's just not worth it. It's not worth the pain, sweat, and tears for like a small amount of tomatoes, especially with how many I'm gonna be getting just from regular tomato season. So that was today's adventure. And I will take you on the rest of my adventures this week. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. I first want to show you the glory that these Mexican torch sunflowers are right now. Beautiful. I just like can't believe the color, honestly. They're just like, you can kind of see them peeking over the fence and they're just big and happy. That one is heavy and a little bit sad, but this one's really pretty. And I've got to get in here and harvest out this lemon balm. It's massive. But this little place of sunflowers is looking pretty good. We're getting some seriously ripe tomatoes, which is awesome. That guy back there looks good. Oh, okay, there were more tomatoes to harvest than I thought. So, okay. This guy, he looks like he has a little bit of damage, which is a tiny bit sad. He's got a little damage on top. This is my first red Brandywine of the season. I bet it's like a quarter of a pound. This lovely, ridiculous looking tomato is a Paul Robeson, and it looks like it's already splitting a little bit, which is why I pulled it, because we've just had so much rain. It just needs less rain. So this is my first Paul Robeson. This guy is, and these two, I believe, these are all black crims. So that's what these are, and these need to finish ripening on the counter. They're not done yet. And then this beautiful, like pinkish red, this is a Cherokee Purple. That is also nice and big. I've got a few Sunrise Bumblebees. I've been harvesting these for a couple of weeks now. And then some of these large cherry tomatoes, I really like these. They're like nothing special. That's all they are. They're just large cherry tomatoes, but they're just really good. And then this is a little bundle of Berry's Crazy Cherry. So Berry's Crazy Cherries are known for this like massive bundle of tomatoes. So yeah, happy with this harvest. So these are two tomatoes I pulled from the plot. They are not ripe. They are very green. But I figured they were going to split if I left them out there any longer. And so this one looks like it's starting to kind of turn. And I'm pretty sure this plant is either I'm pretty sure it's a Paul Robeson. This tomato is fat. This is a nice fat tomato that I'm pretty pumped about. 1 pound and 3 ounces. Here we go. Massive tomato that I've had, which is super exciting. It looks like the other one I pulled off that plant is a pound. 2 pounds of tomatoes just from that one plant. This Paul Robeson from home is a pound. Our Cherokee Purple is almost a pound. Yeah, and the rest of these are gonna be under a pound. But super exciting stuff. Are you? Ugh. Just want them all to come up. Every single one of them. Y'all, not to sound overly dramatic, but I don't know, there's sometimes where the garden is just so big and luscious and everybody's plots are beautiful and thriving, and there's just this moment where, I don't know, it kind of just takes my breath away. Hey y'all, so we are here at the plot in the late afternoon, which is not usually when I elect to come to the garden because it's very hot already this time of year, but I needed to pick some tomatoes, and I really just wanted to check on things because we've been having so much rain that things just kind of explode really fast. So some of my tomatoes are looking a little rough. It's kind of have some like weird brown spots, and the amount of rain we've had has been really tough for the plants, just because like some of these leaves are just super dead, and even I noticed this bell pepper is just looking rough all of a sudden. Like, I have no idea what happened to him. He's got some pretty big fruits on him, so he might just be like kind of done, but well, that's a weed. So I probably, oh, something ate a hole in my pepper. Dang it. It's kind of just stuff like this with the amount of moisture that we've had. You just end up with like some mold problems, and so that's why I came out here to check things and harvest some peppers, because I don't know how well these plants are gonna do. We've got rain in the forecast literally every day, again, for the next like 10 days. Do you think I'm gonna go ahead and pick some of these guys? They're blushing and they've got like this nice yellow color. I'm 99% sure that this is a Paul Robeson. And then I have no idea what this one is, but it's got a lot of large fruit on it. You know what, it's really hard when you're growing heirlooms and you don't know which one you planted because you don't know what color it's supposed to be. So like, is it gonna blush yellow? Is it gonna blush red? I don't know because I didn't mark my plants. This is what happens when your tomatoes have too much moisture. They crack. So we're gonna pick him, he's blushing, and we're gonna pick him so that he stops cracking because it's just supposed to keep raining. Dang, some of these pepper plants are just looking awful. Yikes. Y'all, gardeners are supposed to love the rain, but I think I hate it. I think I actually really can't stand it. But on a brighter note, my habanadas have finally started producing. So you can see some peppers in there. They haven't quite turned orange yet, but I definitely have a lot of stuff to harvest right now. Lots of bell peppers. This plant over here is loaded. Also, I need to pick some shishitos, apparently. But I don't know if they're supposed to turn red. Like, I feel like that's what I'm waiting for, is for them to turn red, but I don't know that that's what's gonna happen. Aha! Garden snack time. I really love planting garden snacks, but I do have to get better about looking at the whole fruit to make sure that there's not a worm or something living in it. That would be a bad time. So looks like my first zinnia is going to open up, and it looks like it might be an illumination, I think, or it's gonna be a Queen Lime Red. Not sure yet. Also, this is like a forest of native sunflowers growing in an abandoned plot right across from mine, and they're really pretty, but these really evil brown bugs, they're either leaf-footed bugs or stink bugs. I've never known which one they are. They flock to sunflowers. I mean, flock to them. And so they have like little mouth sucking parts that they'll actually like, they'll suck the juice out of your produce. So they're bad bugs, but they're really aggressive. took over my sunflowers last year, and they like mate on them and then lay eggs, and then the eggs hatch, and it's this whole life cycle, and it's really gross, and they're really aggressive bugs. And so I've seen quite a few of them on this massive patch of sunflowers, and I'm like, damn it. I'm gonna harvest some peppers out of here because I feel like I have to like get into the plants, and I'll show you what we end up with. Y'all, I cannot believe these harvests that I've been getting. What? It's crazy. Look at that. So many big peppers. Now these are supposed to turn orange, but that's just not really, hey. Truly my favorite part of the community garden is the community part. I just saw somebody that I knew, and I gave him some peppers because I have so many peppers. So lots of big bell peppers, lots of serranos, and then actually my first poblanos. Now these seem a little small to me for poblanos, so I'm a little wondering about that, but there were a few that had actually rotted off the plant, which tells me that I did not pick them in time, which means I should pick them at this size. So could be all the excess rain, but yeah, it's good. Good afternoon harvest. Wow. Got a few tomatillos. I had offered one of my plot neighbors. I don't really like going digging through plants, so I told her if she would dig for it, she could have any tomatillos that she wanted at the bottom of my plants. This feels good. I really struggled with peppers, bell peppers last year, and so having this big giant harvest of bell peppers is really, really great. Good feeling. Well, y'all, it's raining again. I think the last time I heard, between last night and tonight, we've had 5 inches of rain. It's crazy. I mean, I truly can't believe it. So I think maybe my Armenian white cucumbers are not doing well because they're constantly being drowned by the rain. But I probably do. I see a blushing tomato I probably need to grab before it cracks. I mean, at least the tomatoes are happy. Yeah, y'all, this rain is something else. I can't believe it. Usually this time of the year here in Texas, we're like, have some rain, but we're mostly like entering a drought. Not this year. Okay, y'all, we are back in my poorly lit kitchen. Because I have a ton of tomatoes that need to be used, like ASAP. And so for lunch, I'm gonna make myself a tomato sandwich, which if you've never had a tomato sandwich with a good heirloom tomato, you're missing out. So I was gonna cut open this Cherokee Purple that feels pretty ripe. The Cherokee Purple is like this beautiful reddish color that you can't see because the light's so bad. So let's cut this guy open so I can show you what it looks like. Also, the key to cutting tomatoes really easily, because sometimes tomatoes can be hard to cut, is to have a really sharp knife. So with the core, you're going to insert your paring knife, take out the core of your tomato, and you can just do it pretty shallow and just put your knife in at a 45-degree angle. Then you can pop the core out. And then for a tomato sandwich, I like to have like a big, oh, look how good that looks. I like to have a good middle slice. big, thick slices of tomato. Ugh. Look at that. Nice and meaty, smells good. It looks like we're at the end of my gluten-free bread. That's okay. I do prefer my bread toasted, and we don't have a toaster, so I just use the broiler on high and make sure I watch it really well. I do use gluten-free bread because I have celiac, so I cannot have gluten. I will tag a video of telling my story of having celiac here. But this gluten-free bread, it's called Canyon Bakehouse Heritage Style Honey White. It's probably the closest gluten-free bread I've ever gotten to like real bread. However, if you are able to eat bread with wheat in it, I would go for a sourdough because that acidy flavor with the richness of the tomatoes and the mayo that I'm going to use, it's all a really, really nice complement to each other. And like I talked about in the video where I was showing you guys how I make my blistered shishito peppers, you know, in terms of mayonnaise, you can totally make your own aioli. It's super easy. I'm just trying to use this up what we have right now. And this is my lunch break, so I don't have time to do the whole thing. We have a very, very light layer of mayo, and then we're gonna stack on. Oh, those tomatoes are amazing. Look at that. Ah, so good. Now, one important step that I think a lot of people miss when you're making a tomato sandwich is salt and pepper. Now, we keep salt and pepper just blended together because we do a lot of Texas style barbecue. But I think salt and pepper really make a big difference for most food. So a light little layer of salt and pepper. And then you're ready. I am going to eat this tomato sandwich and enjoy it. And that was this week's vlog. Sorry it was a little all over the place. The rain has really affected the garden life. Hey buddy. But thanks so much for joining me this week, and we will see you back here next week.